to bounce. We have Zcash breaking up to the upside. We have a new token, not a new token, but one that's waking up is Chainlink. I want to speak around Chainlink breaking 4-hour trends. I want to speak around XRP. I want to speak around Dogecoin. I want to speak around Sui. I want to speak around Solana, Ethereum, AVAX. There are many, many, many tokens. So today is probably going to be the broadest altcoin show that we have had in multiple weeks, right? It's been a long time, but at the same point, high time frame, we need to be preparing for the move at any point. But we need to be looking at what altcoins are really looking juicy. Where are they? Realistically, how far are they from big breakouts? How big are the moves when we start the big breakouts? What are the ones leading the race right now? What's the urgency list? Lots to speak around. So guys, smash up the likes, smash up the likes, smash up the subscribe button. I'm a little bit excited today. I'm not wasting time. Let's go.
I try and help everyone in my space, and this is what I get. I try and fight the devils, but inside I'm just like Sniper. Welcome to Sheldon Show.
Alrighty, fam. I'm a little bit like slurring today. A little pumped up. I get quite excited when the live button goes on. It's like you just sit normal and calm, and then the live button comes in and it's like, oh, it's action. You got to talk. So a little bit excited today. Hope you guys are all doing fantastic. Guys, mental check again. Keep going, keep striving, keep pushing. There's a lot of exciting things. So again, I want to start off the beginning of the show, kind of just re-looking at timeframes again. I think it's quite important for us to mentally prepare ourselves. This is where we are monthly right now, right? Monthly is bouncing major 618. So just to show you guys this over here, big high time frame Fibonacci level, right? Which means that there is a scenario where this could mark bottoms of the cycle, right? And there's a scenario where we can go slightly lower down too. But I think the important thing is to know both scenarios and to be prepared for both, and also not counting out either, right? We are on this big level over here when it comes to the monthly. We do have, do we actually have, we have some monthly bullish divergence starting to form. So that's, wow, guys, massive monthly bullish divergence. Let me just show you guys. I need to tweet this out after the show. So you're getting this here first. But if you look at this over here, guys, a massive amount of lower low on the RSI and a very big higher high on the RSI, on price action. So that's something that I only literally just noticed right now. All right, guys, that's a big, I think we have seen multiple divergences play out. It's probably being one of the best indications we have seen over the last couple of weeks of divergences, of big moves incoming, right? And if you look at this here, that's very big monthly divergence. So that's a good sign of saying that, hey, if there is a scenario of this being the lows, which again, very likely can, I'm at the point where I am basically preparing for this to be lows. Right, I'm around 65% preparation of this being the lows, and I got 35% prep if this one plays out over here. What I mean is just capital preservation, being able to buy something down at these levels. But for me, loading up on favorite altcoins right now, loading on Bitcoin, there's a little bit more scenarios that I'm seeing a bounce from this area over here than what I am seeing from this zone over here. So again, we have a lot of signs. The bullish divergence is really good. But the next thing I wanted to show you guys as well was obviously paying attention to the stochastic as well, which is at the bottom on the monthly, right? So again, we are sitting at this place of a very oversold monthly time frame. And just to give you a little bit of insights, the last time we were oversold, right, was 2022 on the monthly. Does not come very often, right? So something to pay attention to again. So again, we kind of timing-wise, we need to understand we are fighting bottoms, hardest times. Again, hardest time to ever enter the Bitcoin market was this time over here. Really tough to stay alive and be in and pay attention and arrive on shows and, just being consistent all the time, as well as also just knowing yourself, knowing that, okay, I preserve cash right now, build up some cash flow in the back end, right? But mentally still staying in the game is super important. But this took a little bit of time. And after that, guys, I want to remind you again, there will be new millionaires born from the next cycle. Every cycle, you will get new millionaires. You're starting with $100, $50, starting with $10,000, it doesn't matter, right? Staying in the game and being a part of a cycle as it resets and starting at the bottom is one of the biggest opportunities you'll get in your life. If you go through every market right now, right, and you look at the difference of where we're at, right, that is where we are, right, when it comes to the stock markets, right? That is where we are, right? Tell me, I'm just going to be quite clear here. Tell me how you become a millionaire here. Like, I just want to understand it, right? Tell me this over here. If you look at gold, even gold is starting to pull back, but how do you become a millionaire over here? Right? How do you become a millionaire on silver? Over here. Okay, this one's getting a little bit cheaper, right? How do you, like, if you look at many of these stocks, right? Here is Nvidia, right? Where would you become a millionaire on Nvidia? Right? Here, right? Every time we have started a new cycle before things got crazy, that is where you would become massively rich throughout being in a market at the right time. Where here, if you look at everything that you go through, just so many different charts are just like absolutely parabolic, right? Again, it just shows you that if you're a believer and you're in here, you are here at the major right times, right? Super important. Then the next thing again is just to mentally prepare ourselves for timing wise of when this market can start waking up, right? And also to confirm the bottom, right? I think that's an important thing to go through as well. So the first thing here is you pop on the monthly. Okay, one of the big signs of when we turn bullish is the 200-day moving average. So keep that in. Right, that is telling us right now it's coming down week by week, day by day. Right, we're sitting at 74,000. So right now, anything above 74,000 is very likely a good chance that we're getting to a bottom area, right? A kind of a confirmation area that we're starting to push through. Then, if you look at the next thing, which is this major trend line over here, okay, and the trend is still indicating, if we look at it here, we are still very much looking for September, right? I'm going to stick to it. That is the plan. Right, September for me is when we can very likely start looking at us raising back up to the areas of 90,000, 100,000. Hey, who knows? Might even see back to the highs possibly by the end of the year. All that I know is when this is done, okay, you are going to see 2-3 big green monthly candles, and those can absorb a lot, right? When it comes to us having a side drop channel type of accumulation to the downside. Okay, now again, what are you paying attention to right now? You are paying attention to high time frame portfolio buys right now. To stuff that you are putting away, that you're putting in here and putting it into the cupboard and you're leaving it until we have this RSI at the top. Right? Again, if we look at how long it takes an RSI to get from the bottom to the top, you're looking at around a year. Right? From bottom to extreme overbought territories. So what we are buying and loading up here is we're buying the easiest entries in the market. What I mean by the easiest entry in the market, you don't have to do much to make money. You just had to be there when it was the hardest time to be there. And by showing up at the hardest time when to be there, that is when you got the reward, right? You didn't have to do much. You just had to buy at these certain levels. Yes, money is low. Yes, portfolios are drained. Yes, things are down. But there's still an opportunity. You've made many plans before in your life. And it's the same thing that I was looking at. Like, things are so much messed down. Like, I'm making more plans than ever right now. I'm trading gold on the side. I'm doing whatever I can. And I'm telling you guys now that I'm loading up as much as I can every single week, every single day. But it is high time frame plays that I'm paying attention to over here. And at the same point, I'm mentally putting in my brain where I'm going to be selling these things. I'm going to be selling them when the stochastic RSIs hit the top over here. So every buy I'm paying attention to, I'm looking at easily a 12-month to a 14-month area of how long I'm holding these tokens for, and then I will be getting out, and I'm going to pay the route of when the markets are at the bottom and oversold. So the simple rule looks like this, right? Popping in this monthly. Okay, I used to do it on the weekly. We're doing it on the monthly now because we are extremely oversold. Is when we are here, anywhere below the 25 to 0 point, I'm going to accumulate a ton of altcoins, right? And I'm not talking about 500 altcoins. I don't think the market's the same place. Right? It's only the narratives that make sense, right? The AI, the RWAs, the decentralized platforms, the certain things that make sense on what can rally next. Okay, I'm buying many altcoins, probably in the areas around 20 to 30 altcoins that I'm accumulating. Okay, at the same point, I think Bitcoin's getting cheaper now to accumulate a bunch of Bitcoin too, right? So I've also been very much focused on Bitcoin, focused on ETH, focused on Solana. But nonetheless, okay, this is where I can go wild and being like in a candy store of buying a whole bunch of candies. Okay, then there is a certain thing that I'm setting myself. And these are all things you can do in these times right now. The first one is setting myself that when the RSI gets to the areas of 60 to 70%, I have to offload 20% of my altcoins. Right now, this doesn't mean every single altcoin 20%. It means any ones that have done incredibly well, start taking money off the table, turn it to Bitcoin, turn it to USDT. Okay. Then when we get to the next area of 80%, I want you to sell another 30% of your altcoins, right? Either the ones that have rallied. If everything's rallied, you take 30%, everything off the table. You buy Bitcoin, you buy USDT, you put it away, right? And when we get by 90% over here, I need to be 80% out of all of my altcoins okay, leaving the 20% for a blow off top or a fast rally to the upside, right? And basically, by the time we get anywhere between 90 and 100% of this RSI over here, I want to be in Bitcoin and USDT and maybe 5% in the altcoins. That's it. Then what I want to do is be out, and I have to start learning now that it's all about cycles. Right now, again, we are traders. We day trade the short stuff. There's a lot of times where trading is going to be fun. But when it comes to sustainability of staying alive in these markets, it comes to the higher time frame strategy. So for me, I've now wrapped my head around being through multiple cycles now of bulls and bears and these type of things, that when the monthly's at the bottom, I can accumulate long-term positions. When we get to the top, I'm getting into Bitcoin and USDT. And then I know that I have to wait 3 years to get my buys again. Right? Anywhere between 2 and 3 years is how long. How long did it take from us to get from this oversold down to this over here? Basically 2 to 2.5 years. Right? So I know now in the future, okay, cool. 2 to 2.5 years, I have to wait. In that time, I can trade. But when it comes to me investing in crypto again, right, I can only go crazy. And by then, we'll have new altcoins, new narratives, new flows. I don't know if you've noticed, but Bitcoin and crypto still stand today. They are still here. For many years, we've told that they're going to be gone and it's a scam. They are still here, still trading every single day, right? Which means that, again, a cycle will restart at any point, but I need to start being realistic when it comes to my total wealth that I'm holding and putting in these plays over here, right? When we get to the top here as well, this doesn't mean that I don't get into some S&P and some gold and silver and things like that, all depending on those charts, right? The same thing comes down to when we're looking at S&P and stuff, right? I'm definitely going to be buying more of S&P and Dow Jones, right? And the US tech, and all these things over here, but the same thing over here. I will buy them when they are monthly RSI sitting in this area over here. The concerns we are facing right now is we are sitting still in this top heavy point over here, which means at some point, there are a couple of months to the downside, right? It's quite weird that this is at the top and crypto's at the bottom. Guys, imagine, and why I say imagine, because we need to be prepared if it does happen. Imagine stock markets pull back 20, 30% over the next couple of months and crypto goes up. Wouldn't that be perfect, right? That would be a perfect scenario. Not super likely, but we do need to keep that in play over there. But nonetheless, right, when I take money off the table of Bitcoin, right, at the top of those areas, and I see that this is down or I'm holding cash, I'll be deploying cash when we get to these areas over here. I'll be deploying cash, right, very similar to where we're getting on gold right now, slowly dollar costing back into gold, right? Knowing that there's a couple of areas on the chart. There's this area here, there's 3.533, there's $3,000, right? The main trends are showing us here as an example on gold, okay? But buying some now, 10%, now another 10, 20, 20. These are the strategies that are super important. It's about taking all these previous cycles and turning them into a dance strategy. And it ain't about, I'm telling you this now, it ain't about, you know, when you're sitting on that vacay, drinking your pina colada, right, or your glass of wine or your whiskey or your Energade or whatever, right, Gatorade is what they call in the US, right, you are not going to care about the 4 years that you struggled. I promise you are not going to care at all about the 4 years that you struggled, right? You're just going to love the sip of that damn pina colada, right? And the view, and the this, and the that. But it's about taking all of this damn experience and building it into a very important strategy, right? Super important. Can I have yeses in the chat, likes in the chat? It's time to vibe up and get shows banging again. It's time for us to stay in. And even if you have to just be here every day for my energy, then that is what we are going to do. We're going to vibe up the energy and pump up the vibes, show up every day, keep building your strategy, keep building your plan. Let's go. Give me yeses in the chat. Give me yeses in the chat. Okay, amazing. Okay, now, next thing over here. So again, timing-wise, we're looking at September. Now let's go through where we are right now and go through the major plays that I'm seeing on Bitcoin itself. So we are in a little slight choppy momentum at this point, right? We do have this crazy momentum, okay? What I will do after short-term Bitcoin, guys, is we're going to go into the altcoins. I'm going to go high time frame altcoins, go through many altcoins with you guys today. I'm also going to then go through short time frame and go through a bunch of trade setups if we're seeing any trades in the market right now. Okay, so as it stands with Bitcoin, it's quite clear we are in a accumulation zone, right? It is good that we're in accumulation zone at a possible bottom area, right? It's kind of what you want to see. You want to see this chop around before we start a reset at any point. Okay, but nonetheless, it's a little bit volatile. Trading is a little bit tricky right now. I saw CPI came out yesterday, actually pretty good. We had a nice little spark up in the market. We actually then had a drop, right, within gold and the stock markets, but ultimately a nice pump within Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's been holding pretty strong. So if we look at where we are right now, we are in this uprising channel. Okay, so if we bring up the channel section here, oh, I haven't actually used a channel in some time. Okay, you could see we are definitely in this uprising channel right now. So again, technically, we are still forming a little bit of a bearish pattern, and we must keep that in mind. Okay, however, we're at resistance. And if we see a breakout from this area, I want to remind you guys again, we do have liquidity. So let's go through the liquidity maps over here quickly and see where liquidity is sitting every couple of days, 2 days, 3 days. Start putting up these liquidity maps, gives you an idea. So on the weekly right now, we're sitting with liquidity at 61,400, right? So going back to the charts over here now, 61,400 is sitting right at the bottom of the channel. Okay, so that's telling us, hey, don't be surprised if you see a drop over here. Okay, then what we have is we look at the higher time frame liquidity. Great tool to just use on a day-to-day basis. That's also sitting at the areas of the late 60,000s. Okay, so if we go back over here now, we have more liquidity sitting over here. Now, again, by putting in a new high has given us a slightly new 618 level. So that's indicating that right now, okay, there's still very much a possibility of going down $60,700. Right, this is bearish scenario that I'm speaking. This is basically in the next day or two now, we see a rejection, we come down, something like this, right, is very much the place to come in. So it means that if I was looking for a possible trade setup specifically on Bitcoin today, okay, I'll go, and again, I'm going to give shorts and then I'll give bullish views now, okay? But if I was looking for a bearish view, I would be looking at a possible short scenario, right? So this area over here, there's the trend. Clear trend, jump to the 1 hour, guys, clear trend over here. If we start to see a drop and this over here, that's the short, there's the stop loss. Risk to reward, really good. Right, and my TPs would basically be at the area of 63,000 and those low zones of those mid 61,000s. Right, so really good risk to reward. Look at that, right? It's a really good trade setup, specifically if it sticks to the areas of that major range. Then what I want to do is I just want to go through slightly higher here, see what else we are seeing on the liquidity, and then I'm going to give you guys the next views. Now, remember, there was liquidity at 65,000. We've hit that liquidity now. So if you look 2-3 days back on the weekly time frame, okay, we did have a bunch of liquidity sitting at this area. It was all sitting over here, and we've hit it, which means now there's no top liquidity sitting in the market over here. A lot of shorts kind of got hit from yesterday's bounce and move to the upside, okay? But a lot of people also kind of got a little bit excited and long the market. So now you're sitting with a whole bunch of liquidations sitting at these areas over here. We break past 65 today. We're going to speak about the bullish scenario now, okay? Then I want to go through here. Let's go 3 months, and then we're going to jump straight back into the charts and get the setups in play on Bitcoin. Okay, then good sign. So on the 3 month, we're sitting with liquidity at 67, 68,000. Okay, 6 month. 6 months, we're sitting at $83,000 is where we're sitting with liquidity. Let's see the year. Anything interesting on the year? Okay, nothing crazy on the year just yet. So again, the 6 month one is very interesting, and 3 months. So it gives me a basic kind of play. So let's go through a couple of scenarios here. So again, that for me is the bearish shorting type of scenario. Now, the good sign that we are seeing, just clear this up here, is that we do have a new high on the 4 hour. So I'm going to remove the bearish channel now, and I'm going to turn bullish for a second. All right, so remove all of this over here. Know that there is liquidity sitting down there, but I'm going to turn bullish for a sec now. So let's jump in here. This could be the bull scenario, right? We are actually in support right now. You are sitting, a short squeeze is sitting here between 65,500 to the areas of 67 to 68,000. That is where the short squeeze area looks, is there, right? That basically means that that is where speed up is sitting in this zone over here. So bullish scenario looks like this, something in this play over here. We actually start speeding up now within the next 24, 48 hours to the upside. Okay, now this is also a really good idea of a possible trade setup. If you look at longing and shorting right now, right, you look at the risk to rewards, they're looking really good in both ways. Right, so bullish scenario is in play over here. So if I'm worth taking a bet today and taking a trade within the market, right, bullish and shorts have to be confirmed. We have to lose that trend, right? Bullish, we have broken out the resistance and we are testing a support right now. So to go long right now with the stop over here, knowing that if we do get stopped out, very likely we're going to come down a lot, okay? And knowing if it plays out, the risk rewards are really good. Sometimes you just got to allow the chart to break through, break structure, and then come back down into the areas. We've also broken these trends over here. Right, so it gives you a good idea that anywhere between the 64,200 to the areas of 64,500, I'll probably say is a nice sweet spot, is good entries when it comes to longs within Bitcoin. Okay, now let's now jump in. So those are my two major plays that I'm seeing right now between longing and shorting within the market right now. When we look at USDT dominance, this actually looks very bearish. Right, so this is actually a good sign for the markets right now. So if I was a person looking for trade setups right now, right, long is probably the first option of 55%. And then if we lose those barriers over there and those things, possibly then a short, right? But longs are definitely still in favor over here, specifically losing this trend over here and showing us we could see a squeeze to the downside at any point. So don't be surprised if you do see a crypto wake up, right, at any point in the next 24 to 48 hours. Now let's go look at altcoins, because altcoins are the juicy ones, okay? And this is why they are juicy. Now, again, we are at resistance on alts. A lot of alts you'll see are at resistance. And it's showing the exact same thing, that if we don't break through this level right now, we are going to see a drop down to the previous lows that we have seen over the last couple of days, right, over there. But if we do see a breakout, and that's why I'd say it's very important to have this trend here on total 3. Okay, if we see a daily close, and you're looking at anywhere between now and up to a 2-3% move within the alts, right, this can confirm a big daily breakout. Right, one that can basically give us a move from here up to the mid-range of where we've dropped into this areas over here. And again, you look at a breakout there with tight stop losses, the risk rewards look really big as well. Okay, however, with this information, there are two zones to pay attention, or two things to kind of pay attention to. We're at resistance right now, which means if I'm longing any altcoin right now, I want to be on that side of the line. Right? And it means a lot of altcoins are not on that side of the line, which means I need to draw the trends on all of them and make sure that we are ready for those major moves. So now let's speak altcoins. Let's go through the altcoin journey of what I see happening over the next couple of weeks to months, so you can have an idea of different types of entries we are seeing in the markets right now. Now, the first thing that happened on altcoins a couple months back was we lost this major trend, right? And this major trend lines up for a Q. So I'm going to put in a bit of time zones here. Not time zone, but time. Okay, there's September over there. Okay, to the end of the year. There we go, to the end of the year. Okay, so if I look at again where we are when it comes to the altcoin market, right on the 618. Guys, look at that. Not only are we on the 618, we are at double bottom territories. Right? It is so clear right now that if we don't hold this level, we are going here. It is so clear right now that if we hold this level, we are going here to the trend line, right? So it is so clear when it comes to a trade setup or anything that I'm building or accumulating up over here, that is the risk to reward right now when it comes to the monthly, right? We're sitting at a 1 to 5 risk to reward. Okay, so again, when these times come and a simple trade makes sense to you, it makes sense taking the trade because you can prepare for both scenarios. Again, everything I teach is not advice. It is my thought processes, and also to just put you in the mind of being through these areas. Guys, I've made money in bull markets. I've lost money in bear markets, but I'm still highly, highly, highly up from what I've ever been before, right? Okay, and I'm still trading to this day. I've survived 6 years, right? Which is, I'm starting to become a slight OG in this space now, which is cool. Okay, so what it looks like is if we are bullish from here, we are looking at slow grind up within this next month. Okay, but a move and a speed up within these areas over here, taking us to the mid-range. Right, that for me is the play of the bull scenario this year. Then we will see where we're at. I actually want to see what the 12-month looks like. Where do we need to get this year on the 12-month to be bullish? Oh, let me just take that back again. The 12-month. What do we need to see? Guys, look at this. It's still a baby industry. This is the years. We're still nice and early when it comes to altcoins. If those who thought we're possibly late, right? So where we are here. So where I need to kind of be by the end of the year is, yes, above that mid-range. That can give us a nice pin bar candle, possibly a strong next year. I'm not going to speak too much around next year. I don't see what we can see happening next year just yet. I'm looking at the opportunities of what I'm seeing right now. So that is bull scenario over here. Bear scenario, right, is basically, let's just clear this up over here. Bear scenario is basically we end up reversing this candle in this month, next candle push, pin bar, and that will delay us slightly to January or so of a strong move to the upside, possibly around the November to the January area of moves over there, right? It is quite clear right now, risk rewards are good, where to enter the market, right? Where to buy, where to put stop losses, and that's all you can ever ask for as a trader and an investor, right? Just simple structure and understanding of what you are actually doing. Okay, now again, what does this look like on altcoins? So I'm going to pop through this over here and just give you an idea of sizes and where the altcoin market's at, right? What are the big levels? So let's start off with ETH, right? So we start off with ETH over here. This is where ETH is sitting. ETH is sitting right on this bottom bull trend line, right? ETH is in a huge channel, okay, a massive channel. So if you look at the simplicity of where to buy ETH right now, where to put a stop loss, right, and where to set yourself up for TPs, mid-range and top of the range over the next year to 2 years, right? Maybe 3 years. We'll see how long the basic market takes to reset. But that is what investments look like on ETH right now. If I want to invest in ETH, that's what it looks like, right? I'm looking at risk of up to 22%, and I'm looking at gains of up to 170%, right? That is what it looks like when it comes to percentage-wise on ETH. Now, again, there's a slight time pressure, which is telling me the exact same thing as the rest of the markets, right? ETH might actually start breaking out in August. Look how close it is to the monthly trend. If we engulf this month, it's a very good sign. Guys, I think we're a little bit closer than what we think, right? And we just need to think that way as well, be prepared. Yes, we have this bearish thoughts. We've thought of Bitcoin $40,000 many times. We have that in the back of our head. We know we need to put a stop loss to protect ourselves. But other than that, I think it's time to start dreaming and thinking big again, right? I really do. I think if you can think big when no one's thinking big, I think you become the one that actually makes it happen when things start to shift off, right? When you look at things like Solana, right? Sol, exact same thing. You take the bottom trend line and see where we are right now, right? Back in the start, back at the original momentum, right? From these lows over here to where we are right now. Same thing with Sol. Sol is sitting easily a month to 2 away from a real breakout. But when it breaks out, right, we are looking at a push of the trend that we lost, right, which is to the areas of mid-range over here. Okay, so again, you put this in play over here and you look at this. You say, okay, what's my risk to rewards? 1 to 4 right now. Right, and up to a 94% move to mid-range. That's to this mid-range, not even the entire mid-range over here. Okay, so that is where we're looking at Solana right now. Okay, if we look at things like AVAX, this is where it starts to get incredibly scary, right? Now, again, these alts are losing a couple of important lows, and they are sitting at these kind of falling knife type of areas. This is why dollar costing, and specifically, if I'm investing, there's a lot of tokens I don't have stop losses on. Why? Because I buy them, I believe in them, I put them in my wallet, right? To not get shaken out, it's all about where you're buying them. But where do I see AVAX? Okay, AVAX, I see going and testing this possibly by the end of the year, right? Which is $20. So again, if I am putting risk right now and I say, okay, I'm giving myself anywhere of up to these areas of up to $3, $4 risk. Okay, stop loss type of areas. Again, for me personally, I'm not putting stop losses on an investment like this. I'm buying and just holding them. I believe in the project. I believe without, but look at that, right? Looking at 190% back up to these areas. So again, what's the difference between this and trading ETH and stuff like that? Just literally percentages of the amount of money I'm putting into them. Okay, when you look at things like Chainlink is quite clear where to buy, where to put a stop loss. Right, Chainlink as well, mid-range, everything's pointing to mid-range over here. You're looking up to 100, 200% to the mid-range. Right, NEAR protocol, NEAR might move a little bit bigger. We could be looking at a $5, $6 NEAR. Right, it's slightly a little bit higher up this one, so a good stop loss probably around the 1.5, 1.4, so a little bit bigger. Even, again, for me, I'm buying long-term, not really putting stops on these over here. Stops are there for trades. Investments, I kind of keep in wallets, right? I don't keep them on exchanges. So if it's a trade, stop loss is super important. If it's investment, you buy good areas, you keep them in the wallet, you be patient, right? Look at things like SUI. Look at this, guys. Guys, this market's been through so much, but you can't tell me this isn't incredible risk to reward. If we are going to turn bullish, we are going to turn bullish very soon. If you look at this as an investment right now, and you say, okay, I'm investing here, and let's say I want to protect myself over here, right? For mid-range over here, you're looking at a 1 to 10 to 1 to 12 risk to reward right now. It may seem like this market sucks right now. It may seem like it just doesn't make any sense right now, but know the opportunities are in front of your eyes right now, right? That is a very, very good investment, right? Specifically if it works out. If not, it is very well calculated that anywhere below here is zero, right? Love Siri to bits, it's incredible, but look at where we are right now. So again, something like this, I'm looking for a range push anywhere up to $2 to $2.5. Incredible entries, right? So I think this is massive. Okay, when it comes to things like Fetch AI, look at where it's at. Now again, preservative, put these big trends in, buy the breaker trends in the next 2 months. Amazing, okay? But key when it comes to key levels, so what I do, guys, is I buy certain things like this now as investments, okay? And then trades I take on when they break the trends. Like trades, I'll do some margin trades, slide low leverage trades, I'll do spot trades. That will all happen once they start to break the trends. Okay, things like Zcash is pretty up there. Not really super interested in buying too much long-term of Zcash, right? I'm definitely loading up on some more on Render, right? When it comes to things like Injective, right? We could easily see a push up of Injective up to the areas of $10 to $12, right? So there's a lot of massive, massive, massive opportunities. Okay, it is now time to jump into the short time frame views or long-term. You guys tell me what altcoins you want. So I'm going to jump on here into WEEX. So account's like slowly going up and down. So I started at $1,000. I'm at 1,181 right now. So it's, again, trading's kind of difficult for now. I think short-term trading is difficult. I don't think long-term high time frame trading is difficult. Remember, guys, on the shorts, I've given you both scenarios. I am bullish and bearish in the same day, right? So that is where I'm at right now. Because we are at a critical zone. We do have a uprising 1 hour wedge. So again, for shorts, this will be my entries with stops over there. All right, that will be my basic views when it comes to that. Okay, let's go. Let's pop them all in here. So I'm going to jump onto WEEX over here. Guys, remember, if any one of you don't have a WEEX account, we have a great trade to win F1 tickets reward right now. Right, there's a bunch of basic small steps you do, and you get to spin here to win F1 tickets. This is the date of when we are giving the F1 ticket away. Okay, so anyone doesn't have an account, it's linked below in the description. Sign up over there and give you an opportunity to do so. If anyone does have my link, go and spin the wheel. Okay, let's jump in. Let's go. So the first one is Dash. Okay. Okay, so just to give you a quick, short time frame view of this, let's jump into a, what happened here now? Yes, I understand. Let's make this a bit bigger. Whoa. I just wrecked my platform. Wait, so I just wrecked my platform. Okay, if I moved, oh, it's all that down there. Okay, so if this happens to you, it happens on many exchanges. Move this up. Let's make it tiny little bit smaller. Okay, there we go, you're back. Okay, so short time frame on Dash, 4 hour resistance ahead. Okay, so we're at resistance, keep that in mind. If there's a short opportunity, trend over there, break a trend will be a nice short to the downside. Anything above that trend is where I start to turn bullish. Right now, we have this as bearish momentum, very much still in bear control territory right now, right? So probably looking at rejections to the downside. If we are looking downside, what we are looking for is let's draw a couple of bottom trends here. Let's see where we're at. Okay, so as it stands right now, very much likely something like that as a possibility. Okay, play over there. Anything below here takes us back down to these big support lows here. Okay, so something like this, I kind of rely on the top trends to give me an idea to stay away until we are really showing momentum and strength. When it comes to super high time frame, let's jump into the high time frame. All right, let's go here to the weekly. Okay, so if I'm looking to accumulate this, I'm accumulating this on this floor here. Very clear area where to accumulate dash right now. Right, not only that, when you look at upside again, you're probably looking at this area over here, if not these top areas here. I'm not thinking up there just yet, but I'm thinking mid-range of the cycle over here. So this could easily be anywhere here to the areas of the late 20s, right, is a possible opportunity for a move up to $80 to $90. All right, so high time frame, that's accumulating. The next one as well is just let's just see how we're looking here. Let's see, this is tight, slightly tighter. We could be seeing a dash monthly breakout in the next month. So that's actually very good, guys. Keep that trend in play there. See that trend? This could give you a nice early long on dash. And it'll give you such a good risk to reward. We start closing out there and you put a nice tight stop there for mid-range move. Huge risk to reward trade here on dash. Okay, next one. What is the other one? It was dash, it was CAS. See if CAS is on here. Okay, we'll go through Poly now. Okay, so here's CAS. This one indicates for me probably a August, September type of breakout for now. Again, when it comes to accumulation stage, it's kind of a falling knife right now. So this is something that out accumulates on the break of the trend. You could accumulate slight areas here, but for me, it's a little bit of a gamble by doing that. We do have this possible low here, but we don't know if this thing's going to get cheaper or not, right? There's not much previous data. It is at new, basically all-time low type of areas, where it hasn't been for a long time. So something like this is the break, but that's definitely an incredible entry once we're through on that side of the trend, right? You could easily be seeing a move up to these ranges here. It's up to 100%, incredible risk to reward ratios. Okay, next one. Poll. Okay, also a very big falling wedge right now. Again, the good sign is we do have falling wedges. Falling wedges where millionaires are born, guys. High time frame falling wedges are very good. You just gotta not pre-jump too early, and if you do pre-jump too early, you just gotta be patient. Right, that is the key thing here. So we do have a little weekly breakout happening over here. So you might see a little bit of strength. The concerns right now is we're sitting with a resistance over here that we need to get above. Okay, and then we have these major trends here. So still a little bit of time over here. However, I'm going to speak around if you're accumulating in this area over here of where we could be seeing a nice move. And it makes it quite clear that if we look at these trends with that top over there, you are looking for a possible move up to the areas of 1.6 and up to the 20-cent mark. So 16 cents to the 20 cents mark would be the TP kind of zones and areas of where we could possibly see a move up to this year. There's no doubt about it. There's 2 banger months coming this year. And I think we can do a lot of great things in those months when they come. Okay, next one. I have no idea what this token is. But for those who do and those who don't, do your research. This is not something that I am personally trading. Okay, where are we at with this thing? Wow, this thing's aggressive. What do I click here now? I keep making mistakes here on the charts. Okay, let's jump here. I want to see here quickly. Wow. Okay, that's insane. That's the entries. Sort of. If we look at the next areas. So it's nice to see something going parabolic in a bear market. But yeah, like something, if I'm entering down here. Until then, if you want to use tools to kind of help you guide where to maybe take profits, I'll use the extended fibs. We've hit the 1, and the next one's sitting up over here at 5.2. Am I right here? Market cap DEX. Where's the market cap? That's the market cap. So yes, entries are sitting down over here. Okay, so again, we've hit the one. So you're looking at $64 as the next TP-ish area. Know that we are in a TP area now at $40, and then there's one more at $90. So this could be further in. So the way I'd treat this is I would be looking for buys down here. Here I'd be taking 30% off the table to 40%, maybe even initial capital out. Right here will be the other laddering out type of areas that we are looking for. Okay, Cardano. I get rid of my chart now. There we go. There's Cardano. Guys, obviously we don't know the full future of Cardano right now. I know Charles is around or not around or what's happening there. But chart-wise, we are seeing a very good descending wedge, right? And it's telling us that once we start clearing above 20 cents, there is a nice move up to 50, 60 cents. So I think there is a good trade coming on Cardano once it gets through these areas here. All right, so a little bit more time. Also telling me a breakout very likely closer to the September time. Okay, guys, lots of love. Hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you for sitting here. Lots of altcoins we spoke around today. I'll see you guys on Friday's stream. Make sure you're following Sniper Trading as I'm doing a show there a little bit later today on an update on what we have spoken about previously. Have a fantastic day. Heads up high. Work on your strategy. Lots of love. And remember, I'm always there for you guys. Bye-bye.